All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. This is the Thesis and Dissertation Template Workshop, in case you're not sure. And I'm Bob Penman, and I'm with the Graduate Office. Yeah, come on, y'all come on in. Yeah, come on in. The graduate school is in 101 Main, the big building at the base of the tower over there, which is a location most of you will probably visit in the near future. And just come on in. Hey, we like visitors. There's my phone number and my email address also. And I encourage you to make use of me. If you get home and can't remember how one of these formatting things works or how it's supposed to work or what you're aiming for, any of those three, come by and see me, call me, email me, we'll get you fixed up. We always get people, the last day of submission that'll come in and say, oh, I couldn't get the page numbers to work right, or I couldn't get this to work right, or is there a special format we're supposed to use? I said, well, yeah, there is. So don't be that person. Work on it ahead of time. It will make life easier. Here's our website where you can download the templates if you haven't already. Our website has changed a little bit over the last year or two. So if you have an older URL, it may not work, but this is the new one. It's a little bit longer, but it'll get you there. As far as the templates go, UT has always had a certain look that they want a thesis or a dissertation from UT. They want it to look a certain way. Margins a certain size, page numbers a certain, bottom centered, all that kind of thing. And pre-computer, everybody had to do that themselves. We have a set of publishing guidelines that is still on our website if you're a do-it-yourselfer, but we created the templates so that it'll do a lot of the work for you. It's already got the margin set, page numbering, all the pretext pages are in there in the order they should be, all that kind of stuff. So I highly recommend them. So one thing I forgot to bring up is our website. Get it up here real quick. I knew I forgot something. So this is the graduate school website. Lots of things on there. If you look under academics, and then thesis and dissertation, thesis and dissertations, and then digital submission requirement. That should be that page that was up there just a second ago. So here we have different versions of the templates. Are we out of chairs? I guess we are. You can download for different versions of Word, and whether you're using a Mac or Windows. And really, you can't download a wrong one. If you download one that's not exactly set for your computer, the first time you open it, it'll say something like opening in compatibility mode, and then it'll go away. It'll be fine after that. Let's see. Also on the right here, if you'll notice, we have a YouTube video of a previous workshop, one of these that I did. So if you have a friend that couldn't come or is out of town or something, you can direct them to that, and they can watch me in living color on the computer. And we're filming another one today, so it'll be up there too. Let's see, what else? So when you download one of these, it will come as one file, but it's a zip file. And within there are 4 templates. And 3 of those correspond to the 3 parts of what will be your document. There's a front matter template that comes at the beginning. It's all the pretext pages, the signature page, title page, abstract, table of contents, all that stuff. Then there's another one called the master template that will be your actual document. And then there's one that comes at the end, which we call the back matter. And it has things like appendices and your bibliography, all that kind of thing. It'll come after your document ends. So those are the 3. We'll start with the 4th template, which is one that you won't really use per se, but it's good to look at just to get an idea of what we're going for. And that one, where is it? Is this one. It's called the chapter template. Doesn't mean it's what should become your chapter. It's just a sample chapter for you to look at. So the idea is to get your document to look more or less like this one. So there's major sections, which you probably won't use. It's designed for really big documents. Here's section 1, chapters 1 through 5, or that kind of thing. what most people, almost everybody uses, is the chapter title. So, chapter 1 or chapter 2. If you don't have to use chapters, you can use names like introduction, methods, that kind of thing if you'd rather. There's subheading, a subheading, and a subheading. We go down that far. And you'll notice on all of these it'll say heading 2 for the chapters, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5. Those are the names of the styles that the templates come with that will help you get your document formatted. Does anybody use styles? Familiar with them at all? Almost nobody does. Styles come with Word. It's a part of Word, but we've tweaked some and added some new ones, and we'll show you how to use them. They're kind of basically a macro. Any formatting stuff you can do in Word, you can put as many formatting things as you want into a style, and so when you apply that style to a piece of text, it'll do whatever it's supposed to do. It'll center it, bold it, make it a certain font size, anything you can think of, really. So that has 2 main benefits, which is one, it will make your document kind of standardized. All the chapter titles and subheadings will look the same. But the biggest benefit is that if you use them, at the end you can use it to generate your own table of contents. So you don't have to go through and look up everything. Oh, that's on page 15 and type it all in. And it'll also do your list of tables and figures and all that sort of thing too. So that's a big time saver. Let's see. There's a sample table. In all these examples, we have the thing and then the caption. But if you'd rather have the caption on top, that's fine with us. Also, like chapter 1, this is you can call it chapter number 1 or chapter ONE, whichever way you like. Make sure you try to do them all the same way. Here's a sample figure, and here's a sample illustration, and they're both the same image. So begs the question of what's a figure and what's an illustration? And the answer is it's whatever you want them to be. This is just a tool so that if you have 2 different kinds of images that you want to distinguish between, like if you had a bunch of maps and then a bunch of photographs, if you want to keep them separate, you could call like all the maps figures and all the photographs illustrations, or vice versa, or you can just call everything a figure if it doesn't matter, or an illustration. Yeah. All these examples are left justified, but it doesn't. You can have them centered if you'd rather. Yeah, we're flexible on that. More sample stuff. Let's see. There's a sample reference. All of our references that we use as examples are formatted like this, where it starts flush left and then hanging indents under it. You can do it that way, or you can do it whatever way you want. APA is fine, Chicago's fine. If your committee has a certain style they want, or if you have a certain style you want, that's fine with us. Let's see. That's pretty much all to cover on here. So just kind of keep this in mind that we're going for this.
What about like really large tables that won't fit in?
We'll go over that. That's a special case, yeah.
Can you use different citation styles in each chapter?
Yeah, that would be fine.
So the references per chapter or all of it?
Some people want to have there's references for each chapter, like here's chapter 1, and at the end there's all the references for chapter 1. Chapter 2, chapter 2, right? And that's fine with us, that's optional. But what we will want, what we require, is a comprehensive set of references at the very end. So you can have the chapter by chapter references, but as long as you have the big set of references at the end. And it can either be all sorted together if you want, or you can have them divided by chapter. Like you can have here's chapter 1 references, here's chapter 2 references, that kind of thing. Either way is fine with us. So for the templates that you'll actually use, we'll kind of start at the back and work forward, because that kind of goes from simpler to more complex.
Hey, sir, I have a question. About the templates, you have a latex template there.
We do have a latex template. It's old. It hasn't been updated in like 15 years because none of us know how to use LaTeX, but, but it is there and it should work okay. And you can always bring it by or email it to me for a format check, your document. And I can tell you, oh, this needs to be fixed or that kind of thing.
Okay, great, thank you.
Is there a standard referencing format?
A standard reference format? No. It can be any way you want. Like I mentioned, APA or Chicago or your own style. Anything's fine with us. So the one that we'll start with, let's see, where is it? Is the back matter template. So this is what will come right after your document. If this was in your document would have ended on the page just before this. So the first part of the back matter is a spot for an appendix or appendices if you have more than one. This is optional. You don't have to have an appendix. A lot of people do. You can call it appendices if you have more than one, and then appendix 1 or appendix A, then appendix 2 or appendix B, whatever you want. And as far as what goes in there, it can be just about anything. People use it for like to show off their raw data that they got or sample questionnaires that they gave to people or pretty much anything. Some people, you can also, there's 3 different ways you can do your images or tables. You could have them in the text as they're referred to, or you can have them all collected at the end of each chapter, or some people put them all their images or tables here in an appendix. And so any of those will work for us. Like I said, about anything will go in there. The only criteria we have for an appendix is that it fits within the margins. It doesn't stick out in the margins, doesn't cover up the page number, that kind of thing. Next up would be a glossary page, also an optional page. You don't have to have one, but if you do, this is where it would go. And no particular formatting that we require on that too. Just have your word and its definitions, however you want to show it. Bless you. Then finally, this is a required page. You can call it bibliography or references or works cited, whatever you like. And there's a couple of samples that with the hanging indents, but it can be a different format style if you'd rather. And it does have to be like a comprehensive set for the whole document. Like I said, you can have them chapter by chapter if you want, but we do have to have this one. Uh-huh.
So if we do have it chapter by chapter, is it okay to have some references which would be common for all the chapters?
Yeah, what I would do is just maybe select all those ones from chapter 1 and just paste them in here, and then chapter 2 and paste them, just have them all sequential. And then finally, the very last page would be a Vita page. This is also an optional page, it's not required, but if you do want to have it, this is where it would go. And it shouldn't be like a, what am I thinking, not references, but resume. It shouldn't be a resume style. This is more of like a conversational thing. I was born in this little town and my dad delivered milk and that kind of thing. If you do have a Vita, give some thought to what you put in there and don't use information that is typically used as security questions. Like don't put your mom's maiden name, your first pet's name, that kind of thing. Because there are people out there who, once your document is published to the library, anybody in the world can see it, and people do go through and mine these things for data theft purposes. It's happened before, which is why the Vita page is now optional. So if you have any concerns about it, you don't have to do it at all. If you do it, we'll want these extra lines at the bottom, either an address or an email. So if someone's reading this a couple years down the line and wants to ask you a question, they can get a hold of you. And then if you typed it or whoever typed it for you. So that's the back matter. Any other questions about it particularly? Yeah.
Are those last 2 lines regardless of whether you've got a Vita?
No, if you don't have a Vita, then you don't have to do the lines. Yes? Oh.
If you're using a reference database like EndNote,
Mm-hmm.
can you paste all of the templates together, like the chapters, so that all the references come up?
Mm-hmm. Are you wanting to have them chapter by chapter also, or Okay.
now.
I think with EndNote, you can just tell it, put everything at the end.
Okay. But you'll have to paste all the templates together, right, for the reference, because you cannot do it with separate templates.
Well, you don't technically have to have this back matter template. If you use that chapter template, they all have the same styles and everything, and margins, and
Oh,
all the
they all
settings
have
are
the
right,
same
so
one.
you don't have
Okay,
to necessarily
that's
have
okay.
this one, yeah.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Yes. Could you just please add something to what you've been saying about figures, illustration, maps, photograph, images, and
Mhm.
tables?
Yeah.
So I guess that, as you said, a map is a figure, a photograph is an illustration.
Yeah. It can be, or it can be the reverse, yeah. It's just whatever you want to call
What
something.
about images? A table is a table.
A table is a table, but yeah.
What about image? Maybe it's like an illustration.
Yeah, you can call it, yeah, a figure or an illustration.
I decide how to call.
Yeah, it's just if you have two different kinds of things that you want to distinguish between,
Yes.
then you can use those two terms. Otherwise, just call everything a figure.
And maybe a picture is an image.
Yeah.
And a map is a figure.
Yeah. Yeah, any of those are fine with us.
And in case we have some statistical data,
Mm-hmm.
so I can call them
Yeah.
maybe figure as well.
You could call it a figure, yeah.
Yeah.
Table or figure, yeah, whatever.
Or figure. Maybe table as well.
Yeah, that might be better for if it's like an Excel looking thing.
Yeah, in the same format.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So if you bring everything together in a single file, the size of file will get so big. So how can we?
It won't, the only reason it might get really big is if you, do you have a lot of images? Okay. Yeah, a lot of people will, especially if the files get really big, you may want to work out on it like chapter by chapter, just like here's chapter 1, and get it all the right way, chapter 2, and then at the end, pull everything together into one document.
The reference and the table of content.
That won't generate until everything's together, but it should. Those shouldn't take up much room at all. If you can get a computer that will handle the whole thing, then that extra little bit won't matter. Right. Okay. So next up, let's see. Here we go. So this is this template is called the master template. It's just a one-page document. It's got this little sample text in there, which you can delete once you've read it. And so, like if you were working chapter by chapter, you could, if you what I would recommend is starting with this and just start typing your paper directly into it. But as I bet most of you have already at least started on your paper as a Word document, so you can take that and then paste it into this, so that now it will be in the template and you can work on it and use the styles that I'll show you how to use and that kind of thing. And there's one or two little tricks on there. What we'll do later is create like a little sample document, and I'll show you how to get it in there.
So if we're just reformatting papers that have already been published,
Mm-hmm.
for supplementary material, is that like an appendix in that case? Or?
When you, sorry, when you get your paper all ready to submit, you'll have an option to upload that as a PDF, and it will also give you an option to upload supplementary material. So that can be most anything. Some people upload videos if it's part of their project, or some people have like if you have a lot of large data tables or something that's hard to show in the document, you could save all those as a separate file and then upload that as your supplementary material, and then in your text say refer to supplementary file blah blah blah.
So if the content of a table is not fitting well in the table and it gets too big,
Mhm.
can we lower the size of the?
We want it to at least be legible, even if it's small, at a normal view, like the way you would normally read text. If it's going to be bigger than that, one thing you can do, if it'll help, is put it on a landscape page. So that gives you a little bit more room. But if it's bigger than that, like a huge thing, you may want to do what we're talking and save it as a separate file and upload that as a supplementary file. Let's see. So yeah, so this would be page 1 of your first chapter. Not really a whole lot to say about it right now, but we'll do that, a little sample document, and paste it in here and show you how that works. Let's see. You can see all the different styles up here. that we come with. And we'll go into that in more detail soon. So let's see, where does it go? Yeah. So the MAMA template is the front matter template. So this is all the stuff that would come before your document starts. So this has a lot of picky stuff, so we'll spend more time on it. The first page of it is the copyright page. So technically having this in there legally copyrights it as your paper. So if somebody steals your poetry or your patent idea or something, you'll have at least a little ammunition to fight them back with. If you're worried about that sort of thing, like if there's a good chance somebody may steal your idea, what you can also do is register your paper with the Library of Congress and get like an official copyright with them. So that gives you a little bit better legal standing in case you think that might happen. Most people don't do that, but if you think you might need it, might not be a bad idea. It's like $30 or $40, I think, something like that. And you'll have an option to do that when you are submitting your final paperwork too. Or you can just go directly to the Library of Congress website and do it. So on all these front matter pages, there's just regular text which is in there, and that's text that needs to be in there the way it is. There's also text with the little brackets around it. So anything with brackets means it needs to be replaced with your own information. Like in this case, your name. And your name is kind of a big thing because it's not necessarily your name like it is on the driver's license. It's not necessarily what comes up with UT Direct. It's your name in the form that the registrar has it, which they get from when you first turn in your application to go to graduate school. So however it was on there, that's your official name, and that's how we want to see it on here. If you're not sure what that is, you can either go by or call the registrar and they can tell you, or your graduate coordinator can look it up, or I can look it up for you. Any of us at the graduate school could help you with that. The year you're graduating. Then the next page is probably the most important page out of the whole thing. This is the signature page. This is the page your committee signs off on to indicate that they're happy with everything. You've done all the revisions they wanted, all that kind of thing. And it's a page that you will turn in to us at the end, along with a few other pages of paperwork. We don't want a hard copy of the whole thing. There's just like 4 or 5 pages worth of actual paper that you'll turn in to us. And this is the big one. Because it can be a problem. Like the ideal is to get your committee to sign off on it, like at your defense, or as long before that as they're willing to sign off on it. Because a common problem is that you'll get close to the end of the semester and Professor A will jet off to France to do research or a vacation or something without signing your paper, and you've got to have it in order to graduate. What we've had to do in the past is, even physically mail that guy a copy of the paper and they can sign it and mail it back. Or what we'll do now, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, like, my professor, my dad is on sabbatical.
Okay.
And she's, like, not here.
So what you can do,
I also have 2 professors.
okay, there's a solution. We have a couple of new rules about the signature page now. We used to require original ink signatures from each person, but we don't anymore. Now they can be images. Like you could email them a copy of this page. They can print it out and sign it, scan that in, email it back to you, and you can print it out, and that's fine. You can also use like Adobe Digital signatures. It can't be the little, the box thing that says this is my digital signature. It has to actually look like a signature, which there's a version option in Adobe to show it that way. But as long as it looks like a signature and it's at least somehow their actual original signature, we'll take it. They do have to all be on the same page now. We didn't used to require that, but they all have to be on the same page.
No, I was gonna ask if you need sign or it could be an electronic signature.
Yeah, it can be electronic for all the signatures. None of them have to actually be ink anymore.
For the one that we turn in electronically, does that need to also be signed?
No. So the version that's included with your paper that you'll upload electronically should be just this unsigned page, because otherwise their signatures would be out there on the web for all those unscrupulous folks that we talked about earlier to download and use.
If you're using Adobe Signature, does it have to be a verified signature? How does that work?
No, as long as it's somehow their signature, Yeah, it can be verified, or verified is ideal, but yeah, it doesn't have to be. Let's see. So this is the dissertation signature page. There's in the thesis templates, this is page just like this, or almost exactly like it. Up at the top, if you're getting a doctorate degree, you might be getting a dissertation or you might be getting a treatise. Just delete the one that you're not doing. If you're doing a dissertation, delete the or treatise. And there's two places for that up here. If this was the master's template, it would say the treatise or report committee. And again, just delete the one that you're not doing. Your full name again, your official name again on this page. The title of your dissertation, whatever you call it. And then all your committee members. The supervisor, their name always comes first. If you have a co-supervisor, they would come next. And then the other members can be in any order. The name will be underneath the line and then they sign on top of the line. Let's see, some people have two co-supervisors. They don't have a supervisor and a co-supervisor. In that case, either one can come first.
For members outside the university,
Do what?
For members outside of the university,
Mhm.
can somebody else sign for them?
No, there's some other pages that other people can sign for them, but in this case, it has to be that person's signature. Let's see. And this is an ideal page to bring by or email me as soon as you can, so we can check it over and make sure it's the right, your official name, the committee members or who you think they are. Like if you set up your committee 2 or 3 years ago, and then in the meantime somebody left, and you thought, oh, I'll use Dr. So-and-so instead. If you didn't change it officially, we're going to still have that first person as your official committee member, which can create a problem if it's close to the deadline. So this is a good page to check over, because if you did have to change your name, or if the title had changed in the meantime and it's now become a new title, you have to get a whole new signature page ready. So it's a picky one. Any other questions or thoughts about it? You can always bring this page or the whole thing if you want, anytime. I'm happy to look it over. Next page is, we call it the title page, because it has your title up at the top. And then your official name again. And on this page, after your name, we want any and all previous degrees that you've gotten. So if you came in and you already had like a Bachelor of Arts or something, just type it in there. If you also had a Master of Arts, add that one in there too. Do a semicolon and just however many you got. If you're very well educated, you might have several.
Does the order matter?
It should be the oldest one first. And a lot of times from a foreign university, if you went to one, they may have a different, naming thing for a degree. Just you can go with whatever they have, or you can get what the equivalent is in an American school. Either a dissertation or a treatise, or a thesis or a report, whatever it is. And then the official name of your degree that you're getting. So like Master of Arts or Master of Science. We see this a lot with engineering students. They'll say, I'm getting a Master of Science in Civil Engineering. Well, no, you're not. You're getting a Master of Science in Engineering. The civil part is the major, which is not part of the actual degree name. So if you're not sure on that, you can check with the college catalog or your graduate coordinator, or I can probably look it up for you too.
Does the order matter if you're getting like dual masters?
If you're getting like 2 degrees at the same time, you can have them either way. You can say have one and the other. The month and year, this is not necessarily the month that you're writing all this in. This is the month of graduation. So in this case, the month will always be one of 3 months. It'll either be May, if you're graduating in the spring, or August, if you're graduating in the summer, or December, if you're graduating in the fall. Uh-huh.
So for the graduate catalog,
Mm-hmm.
for example, PhD in
If you're getting a PhD, it would say Doctor of Philosophy. Yeah. And don't say like Doctor of Philosophy in chemistry, just Doctor of Philosophy. Yeah, the major should not be included. Any questions on that page? Next up is the dedication page. Hey, come on in. This is an optional page. You can have it or not. If you want to dedicate it to, mom or your goldfish or whatever it is, this is where that would go. Usually it's a short little thing. It goes together with the next page, the acknowledgments page, also an optional page. You could, acknowledge Dr. So-and-so for allowing me access to their data or whatever it is. Notice it will say, if you delete the page, don't delete the section break below. And on this page, it says don't delete the section break above. And so you can tell that there is a section break because all these first few pages have no page number. And then starting with acknowledgments, they start showing up as Roman numerals. So there's 4 unnumbered pages, which count for numbering. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, but they don't actually start showing up until page 5. So the way to not delete it is if you look up at the top here, and this is on different places on different computers, especially with Macs, it can be a lot of different places. But it's like a paragraph symbol or a backwards P, and it's called show and hide. So when you click it on, Word will show you things it normally doesn't show you, like spaces and tabs, returns, and a section break. So that's where it is. So like if you decided you didn't want the dedication page, delete everything down to that section break, which leaves a blank page, which we don't want. Should be no blank pages anywhere. But what you can do is come back up to the bottom of the previous page. There's a page break, which you can delete. Delete that page break. The section break will jump up to replace it. And now there's no blank page anymore. It goes straight to acknowledgments, which is now page 4 because we took out that other page. If you do accidentally delete it, bring it by or email it. I can help you get it back in there because it'll mess up the page numbers if it is deleted. Let's see, there's acknowledgments. So then the next page is the abstract page. So the title up here again. This publication number you don't do anything with. You can delete it if you want. It's a holdover. It needs to be taken out of there. It's a holdover from the olden days when we would take your hardbound dissertation over to the library and they would microfilm it and assign it a number, and that's what that number would be. But that doesn't happen anymore, so it's outdated. Your full official name again. And so back on the title page, we had your name and then any previous degrees that you have. On this one, it's your name and the degree that you're seeking. So if you're trying to get a PhD, you'd be your name, comma, PhD, or MA or MSc or whatever it is, the abbreviation of the degree you're getting.
If you have co-supervisors, you write both of them.
So on this page, yeah, we want your supervisor's name, not just a regular reader, but the supervisor. If you have a co-supervisor, we'll want them on here also. You could either say supervisor on one line and then co-supervisor below there, or you can just say supervisors A, comma, B. Either of those ways is fine. One other thing applies to the signature page too, and this one, don't include any titles. Like don't say Dr. John Smith or John Smith, PhD, just say John Smith. And usually it's best if you can use at least a quasi-official name for them. I would maybe look them up on UT Direct and see how their name is there and use that. The abstract, text of the abstract, it says don't go over 350 words, but we don't really count it as long as they just try not to go on and on and on. Since it starts so low on the page, it will almost certainly spill over onto a new page, and that's fine too. Let's see, and then the next is the table of contents. This is a sample table of contents. It's built off of that chapter template that we looked at. It's built off of those entries. So, and we want it this way, like major things like chapters should be flush left, subheadings indented, subheadings indented below that, like that. So it's easy to tell what's what. Also, any other major things like an appendix or glossary or bibliography should be also flush left. And we'll generate one of these too from our sample. Next would come a list of tables, if you have tables. If you don't, you can delete this. You can say table 1, number 1, or ONE, or table A, or 1.1, if you want to number them that way. Any of those are fine. If you have figures, here's where the list of figures would come. And if you have illustrations, this is where the list of illustrations would come. And so the last page of the front matter will end with whatever Roman numeral it is, and then your actual document will start on this next page as page 1 in Arabic numbers. And then it'll be 1 continuous through the very end for however long your paper is. So what we'll do is let's create a sample thesis.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I know that among my figures I'm going to have videos.
Okay.
So they'll have to be supplemental. Would they go into the list of figures as such?
You could. Are you going to call them like a figure, or you think, or you could put them in the appendix, like this appendix A. This is this video. Appendix B, that video, and then on that appendix page, you could say see supplementary file attached, whatever its name is. You could do it that way if you want. Yeah.
So can you add links to the file? Like somebody they click on some link and it goes to the video?
You can. And if you do, it should transfer over when you create the PDF too. It's not required. You don't have to. They don't have to be links, but you can do that if you want.
We want to refer to the supplementary file that we add.
Oh, if you do a supplementary file, yeah, a link probably wouldn't work for that. You just have to have the name of it. But when your file is published at the library, your document will be there, and then any supplementary files will also be there and visible too, so people can click on them and download them. Yeah.
Would it be appropriate to include a list of supplementary material, like in that first section?
You could, like if you weren't going to use the list of illustrations, you could say list of supplementary files.
Like sound files or
Yeah, you could.
like that? Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. So here is a little trick. So if you're ever doing your own workshop someday and you just need a bunch of random text, if you do this little command, =rand, and then some number in parentheses, Word will generate that number of parentheses, of paragraphs of text. So now we got stuff to work with. Yeah, see? Just that easy to write your thesis. What took you so long? So let's say this is your document that you've been working on, and you want to put it into the template. What we found is a big help to do that is before you copy and paste it, adjust the margins of your source file to match the margins of the template. And then you can select all and paste, and it just works better. So you can see what the margins are. Let's see, where's it? Page layout, margins. And if you look on custom margins, so right now everything is set to a 1/2 inch, top, bottom, left and right margins. And for the header and footer, they're both set to 1/2 inch as well. So for the template, we want the margins to be 1.25 inches. That's what all the templates are set to currently. So just take your source document and adjust it to be 1.25. And also, under the header and footer, the header is fine at 1/2. We want the footer to be 1.2 because we want an inch of white space below the page number. So it seems kind of high, but it looks better. So once you set the margins in the footer, you could say apply. So now it's brought in a little bit, looks nicer. Now it's ready to, you can select all this and copy it, and we'll paste it into the template. I'm sorry?
Could you repeat those numbers?
Yeah, the margins should be 1.25 inches, top, bottom, left, and right. And then the footer should be 1.2. If you open one of the templates and look at it, do that custom margin thing and look on it, it'll show you those numbers also. Does somebody else have something? So what we'll do, you can do it, select all from here, or I think Control A selects all, and then copy. You can, okay, Control C or right click and copy, or there's a copy button up here somewhere. So rather than paste this into that master template, which is what I was saying you could do, eventually everything's going to have to be combined anyway. So let's just paste it at on that blank page 1 at the end of the front matter, which will have the same effect anyway. So we'll be at the top of that page, say paste, or let's see, yeah, let's do Control V. So now the text is in there. And a common thing that happens, and it'll probably happen to you, this was page 1, and I'm guessing now it's page 10. So Word remembered that it was supposed to change to Arabic numbers, but what it did is it's continuing the numbering from this previous section. So that was page 9 in Roman, so it's thinking this should be page 10. This almost always happens the first time you paste something into the template. So if and when this happens, the fix is go to Insert, where is it? Page number, and then Format Page Number. And instead of continuing the numbering from that previous section, change it to start at 1. So now it's back to being page 1. The next time you paste it, shouldn't happen again.
Do you advise that we include our figures in our cut and paste them?
Yeah, I would. I know, and there's kind of an older template guide in there that says, oh, you should clear all the formatting first and then paste it in there, but you really don't have to do that. But yeah, just select everything, figures, tables, whatever you got, and paste them in there.
Can you just show them how you change the numbers?
Mm-hmm. So from any of the pages, you can do page layout, and then margins, and then custom margins. And that shows you the current settings of that page. The 1.25 top, bottom, left, and right, and the 1.2 footer.
How you change the Roman number?
Oh, the Roman number thing. Well, we want it to change to Arabic style. If we wanted it to be Roman, it's that same thing. Insert, where'd you go? Page number, and then Format Page Number. And you can change the style up here, Arabic or Roman or whatever you want, and then either continue the numbering from whatever section is before it, or start at any particular number you want. Yeah.
So why not take the front matter and paste it into your existing document?
You can do that too. You'll want to have your document, though, pasted into one of the template formats, otherwise the styles are not going to be there for that, because it's going to be its own section.
Couldn't you just adjust it yourself then?
You could. The styles, though, will help you. We're talking. I don't know. You may not have been in here, but if you use the styles, it will. You can use Word to generate your own table of contents and list of figures and that kind of stuff, which it won't be able to do if it doesn't have those styles. So either way really should work as far as the appearance goes. It just may be a little more work for you to have to create the table of contents.
So you should delete all existing headers and footers.
No, like in your original document. No, I would just select, adjust the margins and then select everything and paste it in. And then you can go through and adjust them as needed.
You're going to show how to adjust them next?
I'm sorry?
You're going to show how to adjust them next?
Oh yeah, that's coming up next. Uh-huh. Yeah, so when we pasted it in here, it became single space. Everything in Word that's in a Word document is in a particular style, even if you don't set it, because that's just the way Word works. Word's default style is called normal. So if you don't change anything, it's going to be in the normal style, which this is. And if you look under Home, there's this list of styles. This is kind of a sub-list of all the available styles. Sometimes it has the one you want, sometimes it doesn't. But there's this little tiny box that it's hard to see, but if you click on it, it gives you an expanded list of styles, and almost certainly the one you're looking for will be in there. So whenever you have your cursor on a piece of text, the style that it's in is going to be highlighted in that list of styles. So as you can see, this, what we're currently in now, is normal style. But we have one of the styles that we tweaked or created is called the text style. So if you select a block of text and then look over in this list of styles for one that's called text, the comma thing is the abbreviation for that style, like text comma T is the abbreviation for text. And then if you click on that style, it applies that style to what you have highlighted. So once we click on it, now it's in the text style, it's double spaced, got the paragraph indentions and all that kind of stuff. Everybody see how that works? So now it's looking better. So let's say you've got, this is your chapter 1. So let's put that in there. And let's see, one thing I didn't point out, on our download page where you download the templates, there is, let's see, where is it? This link up here using the templates. If you click on that, well, I guess I already have that open, but let's see. Yeah, it'll look like this, the Graduate School User Guide. And it's kind of it'll go through a lot of the stuff that we're talking about here. But the best part is down towards the end, Appendix B. These are it lists the different styles that come with the templates and where they should be used. So like for chapter titles, they should be in the heading 2 style. So let's do that. So here's our chapter title. It should be in a heading 2 style, so look for that. There's a bunch of different heading things. There's heading 2. When we click on it to apply what we have highlighted, now it's bold and centered and larger. And it's in that, we call it being in that style. Let's add a subheading or two. And again, from our little list, so subheadings below the chapter level should be heading 3 or 4 or 5, depending on what the level of the subheading is. So a first level subheading would be a heading 3. So let's highlight it and click on heading 3. Now there it is. It makes it look like it's all capitals, but it's not really. You can tell what's actually a capital because it's slightly larger. And let's add one more. So it's the same level of subheading, so it would also be a heading 3. There we go. So now that we've got some stuff in these styles, if you come back up to the table of contents, and I kind of aim for the center of it, but if you right click on it, or if you're on a Mac, you may have to hold the control key down and click on it. You should get this little pop-up menu, and one of the entries is update field. When you click on update field, Word will look through your document looking for anything that's in any of these styles and pull them together and build the table of contents. So there's our entries.
What do you do if there's not something already there to update?
If there's nothing there, it'll come up with like a little error message that says no entries found. But you can update it all the time. You can add a couple more things and then update it again. Add a couple more things, update it again.
No, but how do you start?
Just that same way. Just right click on it and say update field. If there's nothing there, then that's fine. But what was that? I don't know what happened. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. Glad you're here. So it went out, what time? 51, about an hour. Sorry about that, technical difficulties. Yeah, good time for a water break or bathroom break.
It doesn't work better back.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Computer lost the Wi-Fi.
Oh,
That
let me log in again. She had a lot of trouble with the previous laptop. It wouldn't connect at all. Hey, hooray.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, thank you. We're saved. Okay, so anyway, so that's how you generate your table of contents whenever you can do this as often as you want. Just update it again. In fact, let's put it in.
How you generated the table of contents?
If you right-click on the existing table of contents, you should get this little pop-up list and say Update Field.
But you have to place the table of contents on the other template first, right?
Now, well, this is the front matter template already, so it was already there. It had that sample one.
It's already there.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Let's add another entry just to show. Excuse me. Like if you wanted to have a subheading in between those two. So the regular subheadings are heading 3. So a subheading would be a heading 4. So we'll select it, look for heading 4. So now it's in that style, looks a little bit different. If you come back to the table of contents, right-click on it, update field, and after the first time you've updated it, you'll get this extra little choice. You can either update just the page numbers or update the entire thing. Usually you want to update the entire table, especially if you've added or removed an entry. So say update table and then OK. And now it sees our subheading that we added. Everybody see how that works? Uh-huh.
Which one is heading 1?
Heading 1 is for sections, which,
The title of the chapter?
no.
The first, let's say, the first chapter of the chapter.
The chapter itself should be a heading 2. Sections are for, we added in there, but nobody hardly ever uses it. It's designed for like really big documents, like here's section 1, it's chapters 1 through 5, here's section 2, that kind of thing.
So when I
So-
click on heading 2,
Mm-hmm.
it is reading it
It'll look like,
corresponds to chapter 1.
that's right,
Yeah. And so heading 3 it is subheading.
the subheading. Mm-hmm.
Heading 4 is the subheading.
That's exactly it.
And so heading 1
It doesn't even use
I don't use.
Yeah.
I start from heading 2.
heading 2.
Okay.
It's a little confusing. Okay, let's see. Let's add a table. Let's just insert a blank one. Something like that. And you can have the captions above the table or below the table. Either way is fine with us. And looking at our little guide, for table titles, they should be in the heading 7 style. So we'll select the caption. Oops. There. And look over here for heading 7. So it doesn't look that different, but now it's in that style. Be sure you don't include the table itself as the heading 7 style. And if we go back to the list of tables now and do that same thing, right click on it, update field, there it is. Uh-huh.
So for these larger tables, if we're going to put them as supplementary, then they're not going to be in this list.
They probably wouldn't be in there. You could have them just, especially if you put them in an appendix, you could, when the table of contents generates and says appendix 1, it could have that what the name of the file is in there if you want. But,
So should we add some additional spacing between the top of the table and the text?
you can space it however looks good to you. We don't have really a requirement. Yeah. It can be right next to it, or it can be a couple lines between, just whatever you like. Your committee may have a certain way they want you to do it too, so you might check with them. Yeah.
Would I find specific guidelines for table formatting?
In that template guide that had the Appendix B, I think it talks about that a little bit. We'll do a little table stuff right here. So yes, tables can be problematic sometimes. So let's see. If you have, what we will want is a table to fit entirely on one page, if it will. So like if this was a longer table, let's insert a few rows. You know, like if this was the top part was the full page, and then it was a little bit too long and it went down to another page. Or well, even before we do that, like if your table started down here towards the bottom of the page and extended to the next page, what we would do is just insert, either return down or insert a page break. That way it starts at the top of the next page and it all fits. If you have a really long table and that's not going to save you, what we'll want is a continuation notice on the second page or third page if it goes that long. It says something like Table 1 continued. And normally you can't get in there to type that because it's all one continuous thing. So what you would have to do, either on the bottom row of that page or the top row of this page, under the table tools, there's a button called Split Table. That actually will break it into two parts at that row. So if you split it, now it's in two parts. You can come down there and say Table 1 continued. Or alternately, you could insert a text box, and those will let you kind of drag them up into the header a little bit, and you could put it there. Which either way is fine.
You have to repeat the header, right?
You don't have to. You can, but it's not obligatory.
But for doing this, I have to insert a page break.
Not necessarily. If I would insert a page break if that will help it to fit all on one page.
To start from a new page,
Right.
even if the previous is not finished.
Right.
In that case, I insert a page break.
Yeah.
To avoid that then it comes back to the
Right.
old page.
That helps force it to start right there. Yeah. Anybody else? Let's see. Let's undo that. So sometimes, I think you mentioned if you have a really wide table, when you try to insert it in here and keep it within the margins, you know, it can be so compressed it's hard to read. One thing that might help is you can put it on a landscape page, you know, oriented sideways. That will give you a little bit more room, and maybe that's enough to where it looks good. The way to do that is to start at the beginning, either the caption or just above where the table starts. And we'll want to put in a section break. You would think it'd be under insert section break, and on Macs I think it is, but on PCs usually anymore it's under page layout breaks. So we want a section break next page, which works like a page break, but it's now we're in a whole new section. And then where the text continues after that table, we want another section break.
Why is it section breaks instead of page breaks?
Because with sections, a section can have different formatting than the previous section. So in this case, we want this section to be landscape. If you just were on that table and said landscape, the whole thing would become landscape. But if you're on, if it's an own section, you can say, let's say page layout, orientation, landscape. And now, so the page before it is still portrait. That section is landscape. The page after it is still portrait, because we did 2 section breaks. And also you can, if you select the table, if you right click on it and say auto fit to window, sometimes when you first do this, sometimes it'll stick out the margin or it's not going to the margin. If you say this auto fit to window, it will stretch it out to fill exactly the right space. And you can adjust it from there.
So can we add text at the bottom of this page, or you just add
You can, yeah, you can have like a citation or you can have the whole caption down there if you'd rather.
the paragraph after this?
Yeah, I would have the title, like are you going to call it a number like table 1 or something? I would include that with that, but
No, just the normal paragraph that we have before. They're having this landscape.
mhm.
Is it possible to have?
You could, yeah, sure. As long as the table itself, it fits on one page, then yeah. If it doesn't fit on one page, you have to do that continuation thing again. Uh-huh.
So since it's a new session, would it mess up with the page number?
Good point, because it did. So it got confused, the opposite of what it did before. So here's our first page, 1, 2. We're back to page 1 again. So Word got confused, the opposite of what it got confused before. We told it to start at 1, so now it's thinking, oh, every new section has to start at 1, but it shouldn't. So if it does that, do that same thing, insert page number, format page number. And this time, no, don't start at 1, continue the numbering from the previous section. So now it's page 3. And because we did 2 section breaks, I bet it did it again. So the next section is starting at 1. So we'll do that same thing with it. Insert page number, format, continue. So now it's back to the way it should be. Let's see. I think there's anything else about tables. Anybody have any table questions? Yeah.
Sorry, I just have one more about large table.
Sure.
Is it possible to like put the table title within the table format so it shows up in the table contents, but in the table legend linked to the file?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah.
It's easier, it's like clear what was there.
Yeah, just indicate that it's not going to be in the document, it's going to be in the supplementary, but yeah. Let's see, let's put in a figure. So you probably already know if you want to insert a figure, you say insert picture, and then navigate to wherever the picture is that you're wanting to insert. And if you see my workshops, I always include a picture of the emperor. So we'll use Napoleon. And there he is. So when you insert a picture, it may come out, bigger than you want it to be. So if you click on the picture, it gets these little grabber points on the sides and the corners. If you hover over it and then click down, you can, oops, there it is. Then you can resize it however you want. I would recommend grabbing by the corners because that makes it proportional. If you just grab it by the side, it may do weird things to your picture. Oh, and let's see, back to our little cheat sheet. figure titles should be heading 8 in that style. So let's do the figure title, heading 8. There it is. And so now, if we go back to the list of figures, and we'll do that same thing we did before, right-click on it, and update field, there he is. Everybody see how those work? If we wanted it to be an illustration one, we do that same thing, just call it illustration 1, and illustration title should be heading 9. So we'd put it in heading 9 instead of heading 8, and then if you update the list of illustrations, it would show up there. Let's see. So if you were working chapter by chapter, you could paste your second chapter in at this point. We want each chapter or each main section like that to start at the top of a new page. So what I recommend is insert a page break to force it to be on a new page. If you just return down, that works, but if you then go back and delete or add something above it, it'll move up and down too. So if you insert a page break, it'll always be at the top of the page. Chapter 2, blah, blah, blah. Chapter titles should be heading 2. So there it is. And then just, so wherever the text is. And if we update the table of contents again, update field, update entire table. There it is.
Where can we find that sheet that you keep referencing?
It is on the web page, where you download the templates. It's in this using the thesis and dissertation templates. And then just do another page break, paste your next chapter. Or if it's already all in there, just make sure that each chapter starts on a new page, either by returns or by a page break. Let's see what else. So one thing you may notice, if you are sending your paper back and forth to your committee for them to look at or revise, they may come back and say, hey, this illustration is wonky. It doesn't match up with the caption or something, but it looks fine to you. That happens a lot going between either different versions of Word, or maybe you're on a PC and they're on a Mac. Differences can creep in, which is why we want, for your final submission to us, we want you to save this as a PDF and then upload that version, because at least theoretically, a PDF will always look the same on any given machine. And it used to be a real bear to save it as a PDF, but anymore it's as simple as save it as, and then rather than a Word document, save it as a PDF. And that should come out just fine. And then that's what you will upload to us. And once you upload it to us, we'll go over it again one final time before we check off on it. If we see anything format-wise that's weird or needs to be fixed, we'll email you, or if you're there, we'll tell you, please fix this or that, and we'll give you a chance to upload a revised version. You can't make any content changes once it's been uploaded, because that's the version technically that your committee has signed off on. But if there's a formatting issue, you can change those.
Is there any, for the works cited at the end, is there any sort of system that organizes that for you, or you start to?
For that, and you pretty much have to do that one yourself. The Word has a little EndNote thing with it, or there's an EndNote program that's real good for adjusting everything the way you want. But yeah, that part's kind of up to you. Let's see. I think that's about all I've got. We have any other questions? Yeah.
So that document that says master document
Mhm.
template, I mean, there's really no purpose for that if we're going to be pasting everything into the format.
Right. If you wanted to be working like on each individual chapter, like he mentioned, like he has a lot of images that may overload your computer or something, you could work on just like one chapter at a time. And that would be good for that one, because you could paste your stuff into that master template, work on it and save it, paste your second chapter into that same template, save that as a separate thing, work on it, and then at the end, just combine everything.
Will all images be subject to the same
Yeah, we don't want an image or a table to stick out into the margins, but you can do the landscape thing if that helps, or you can, yeah, kind of shrink it.
Remake some of the things.
You may
from
need to
the
remake,
papers.
yeah. Okay. Well, you know, if once you get home, if you forget, how did you do that, or do something, then I'm always here. I've also got my card up here if you would like a card.
You may have gone over this and I missed it, but if we're working in separate documents, like if I have chapter 2 is document
Uh-huh.
chapter 2, and when I'm finally merging it all together to eventually be the PDF, is there a preferred way to do that? Like, should I just add everything to the front matter?
That's what I would do. On that, the front matter ends in a blank page 1, and just start pasting everything in at that point.
And even the back matter?
In the back matter too, yeah. Uh-huh.
So if we're reformatting papers that are already published that have other authors,
Mm-hmm.
do we acknowledge like the funding sources that they received, or is there
not-
a reason?
Not technically. You could put, that's something you could put in, like in the acknowledgments page. But if it is a paper that has been previously published, what we would want is at the bottom of chapter 1, you could say something like, portions of this paper have been previously published as this reference.
In just like normal text?
Like a footnote. I would do a footnote.
Okay.
Insert a footnote. Uh-huh.
Is there, are there any formulas that are usually used for acknowledges?
Used for what?
Acknowledges?
Oh, acknowledgement. Not really. It's just, yeah,
So just we can word it.
just word it, yeah, however you like.
What about formulas? Do you have to put them in the text?
As long as they don't stick out in the margins, you can do them however you want. They can wrap around if that's okay. But yeah, just don't let them stick out. You can Word will, and the templates will let you use that little math function thing. So if you had them in your original document, it should copy over just fine.
Figures should be labeled continuously throughout chapters or per chapter?
You can either, like the first figure is figure 1, just all the way through to figure 100, or you can do them by chapter. You can say figure 1.1, 1.2, and then 2.1, 2.2. Either way is fine. Uh-huh.
So, regarding the publication that you have and you want to bring the material to the dissertation, is there any copyright issue in this matter?
I'm not sure of the question.
Copyright issue? Like you have published it somewhere else, is it
Oh.
required that we publish it again?
Yeah, it has to be at least a little bit different because the original version is copyrighted, usually by that journal. So as long as you change even just a little minor change to make it's considered a different version, and then you can have it in there. And you'll just need to acknowledge it, that it has been previously published.
So the last, after the conclusion?
I would do it on the first page, like if you, here's chapter 1, it was this a source document. Have chapter 1, whatever this title is, and then insert a footnote. So that at the bottom of page 1 it says what we were saying, like portions of this document have been previously published as so-and-so.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Uh-huh.
Multi-panel figures, or does it care, or should they be split up?
No, that's fine, as long as it fits on the page.
But you wouldn't show me that if I wanted it in the table of contents, each figure separately,
If they each had their own caption, you could apply that heading 8 to each of those captions, and then they would.
How many hard copies should we prepare?
Don't make any for us. We don't want a hard copy. There's like 4 or 5 physical pages that you'll turn into us, mainly that signature page, but we don't want the whole thing. Your committee may want a hard copy, or your department may, but we don't.
Library, Texas Library, you said?
No, when you upload the PDF, that's what they'll use. Yeah.
So if we prepare chapters in the master format, master file, and copy and paste everything in the final file, does it bring all of these page breaks and?
Yeah, it should bring everything over just fine. Yeah, it should be, so your first page of your actual document should be page 1, and then it should just be continuous all the way through. Uh-huh.
The text that's in the master document template, that like little paragraph, it
Right.
says that when adding sub-documents, they should be in the final versions and not to change locations.
Yeah, you can ignore that.
Okay, so it's like if I'm working in it, I'm moving things
Yeah.
around. I just wanted to make sure that's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, well, get a hold of me if you have any questions, and we'll get you working.